losing close to 130 million. Thing is, you lost it. It's gone. Did that put you in a dark space?
My problem was, and the biggest thing, and I think what a lot of people don't understand, is that I just probably structured my company the wrong way.
I only just found out that Mike Tyson, the once heavyweight champion of the world, used to be worth $400 million until he blew it all on ridiculous purchases.
That can do two things: make you or break you. And most of the time, it breaks you because we don't know no better. We don't know financial literacy. We don't know how to stay focused because this money ain't gonna last forever.
A lot of times when you see that an athlete went quote unquote broke, you tend to look at that athlete and say what the average person would say.
How could that possibly happen?
How could that possibly happen? He's a dummy. He's an idiot.
Yeah, he blowing it all on girls and cars.
Totally.
Irresponsible, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I guess this video is just gonna be more blah, blah, blah. Because I can't for the life of me understand how you can be making hundreds of millions of dollars one day and then be broke the next. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I just watched former NFL player Odell Beckham Jr. explain how $100 million isn't actually that much money. And honestly, I think I get it now.
Like, bro, you give somebody a 5-year, $100 million contract, right? What is it really? It's 5 years for 60.
You see, we've been looking at this all wrong. They aren't even making $100 million. It's only $60 million after taxes.
You're getting taxed. Do the math. That's 12 a year.
Oh my God, $12 million a year? They're practically poor.
You know that you have to spend, use, save, invest, flaunt. Yeah. Just being real. I'm gonna buy a car. I'm gonna give my mama a house. I'm gonna do everything costs money. So if you spending $4 million a year, that's really $40 million over 5 years, 8 a year. And now you start breaking down the numbers. It's like that's a 5-year span of where you're getting $8 million. Can you make that last forever? And you always hear the people who ain't us and ain't been in the position like, oh, well, that would last a lifetime.
Yup, he's talking about us there. We're the idiots for thinking we could possibly stretch $60 million, especially in this economy. Okay, I'm done playing. In all seriousness, pro athletes make hundreds of millions of dollars, more money than most of us can even dream of. So when many of them go bankrupt, it feels like a slap in the face. Where does all of that money go? Let's break it down with 4 famous cases. First on our list is Evander Holyfield, aka The Real Deal. He's a former heavyweight champion who earned between $200 and $300 million over his career, but he lost all of it through reckless spending and bad business deals. He famously bought 235 acres of land in Georgia and spent $20 million to build one of the most notorious mansions in the country. It had a 45,000 square foot main house, a 4,000 square foot guest house, 109 rooms, yes, you heard that right, 109 rooms, which included 12 bedrooms and 17 bathrooms. He also had the largest private pool in the country, which had 350,000 gallons of water. The mansion also famously had a bowling alley and a dining room that could seat 100 people at once. But people tend to forget that the bigger the house, the more expensive the upkeep. Holyfield had to pay $1 million a year in maintenance and taxes alone. Eventually, he couldn't afford it anymore. In 2008, he lost the home to foreclosure. Though it was valued at $20 million, the bank bought it for only $7.5 million, and it was eventually sold to rapper Rick Ross for just $5.8 million. But beyond the mansion, Holyfield lost his money in court and in a bunch of failed businesses. After a few expensive divorces, he ended up owing millions in child support. On the business side, he lost $3 million on a failed record label and another $11 million on an unsuccessful restaurant. He even tried to sell his own barbecue sauce, a kitchen grill, and fire extinguisher, but none of them could save his fortune. Next on our list is the guy who famously bit Holyfield's ear off. That's right, we're talking about Mike Tyson, aka the baddest man on the planet. We recently saw his Super Bowl ad about the dangers of junk food, where he admits he used to weigh 345 pounds and would eat a quart of ice cream every single hour. Anyway, Tyson was a total monster in the ring. He made about $400 million during his career, but by 2003, he was $23 million in debt. How? Well, Tyson loved the high life. He owned several multi-million-dollar homes and reportedly spent $100,000 a month on clothes and jewelry alone. He also owned over 100 luxury cars, including several Rolls-Royces, Bentleys, and Ferraris. Tyson loved a good party. For his 30th birthday, he hosted 700 guests at his 52-room mansion and hired 13 chefs to cater the event. The guest list included Oprah, Trump, and 19 of Tyson's girlfriends. The whole night cost $500,000. But those weren't even his craziest expenses. Tyson famously spent over $2 million on a solid gold bathtub as a gift for his first wife. He also spent $400,000 on exotic birds and bought 3 Bengal tigers for $70,000 each. Just feeding and training those tigers cost him nearly $200,000 a year. Tyson's money was also drained by his entourage, a group of over 50 friends and assistants who lived off him. He spent $500,000 a month on their travel, luxury gifts, and salaries. And if you add all the expensive court cases he was involved in and his multi-million-dollar divorces, it's clear to see how his fortune vanished. Eventually, Tyson had to sell his 52-room mansion to the rapper 50 Cent for $4 million. Later, 50 Cent complained that the house was such a money pit, it cost him $70,000 a month for the upkeep. But Tyson, unlike others on this list, made a huge comeback. He's made a ton of money off his podcast, acting roles, and appearances. He also has a, let's call it a green business, that makes $900,000 a month. It's clear Tyson proved that even after a $400 million knockout, you can still get back on your feet. Next on our list is Vince Young. He was a star quarterback in the NFL who signed a contract for $26 million. It's a lot less than what the others on this list made, but your jaw will hit the floor when you find out how he blew it. During his first year, people say he spent $5,000 a week at the Cheesecake Factory. Now hold on. Before we judge, maybe some of you haven't tried their Godiva chocolate cheesecake. That slice of heaven will keep just about anyone coming back for more, especially big backs like me. But anyway, back to Young. It turns out he liked to pay for all his teammates' meals and their expensive drinks. He once reportedly spent $6,000 on a single dinner at TGI Fridays. Okay, that one I'm definitely judging. But his most famous purchase wasn't food, it was privacy. In 2007, Young wanted to fly solo from Nashville to Houston. So instead of renting a private jet, he reportedly bought almost every seat on a Southwest Airlines flight. He paid for 120 seats just so he wouldn't have to sit next to strangers. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. By 2014, Young was down to his last million, and he's not alone. It's a sad fact that many NFL players end up broke after they retire. It's such a big problem that experts like Dave Ramsey have worked hard to help fix it.
I do a lot of NFL rookie camps, and I'm standing in front of these kids going, hey, NFL stands for not for long. It's 3.8 years average. 78% of you will leave the league physically disabled for life. The divorce rate's 4-fold the national average. The bankruptcy rate's 10-fold the national average. So you generally don't come out of the NFL well, unless you just decide I'm not going to be a stereotypical athlete.
It really comes down to a simple spending problem. Without a clear budget, even a mountain of money can disappear before you know it.
And she calls me on the 15th, needs another $10,000. What do you do? How do you tell your mama no? I said, well, honey, your mama's got the same problem you got. This isn't going to last. And then what's she going to do? Because you can't do this for 20 years. When you get your mom on a budget where she can take advantage of this, if you want to help her, you teach her to fish, not just give her fish. And the same thing for you. Well, I mean, he had six cars and bought 3 of his buddies a car and thought he was Elvis Presley and all this stuff. And, and a year and a half later, he's out of the league.
Okay, back to our case studies. Last on our list is Antoine Walker, an NBA superstar who made over $100 million during his career. But by the time he was 34 years old, every single penny was gone and he was $12 million in debt. It was clear that Walker had a hard time saying no to those closest to him. He became a walking ATM for friends and family, supporting dozens of people by buying them homes, cars, and taking them on expensive trips.
And I would travel with a big group of guys. I would travel with 8 to 10 people with me and pay for their flights, hotel rooms, eating on the road. So you had those combinations of things. We used to have real big bills at the end of those trips.
Walker had acquired a taste for high-end properties and flashy cars. He owned giant homes in multiple cities and a fleet of luxury cars.
I had 5 or 6 different cars, but I had the most expensive cars when you're talking about Bentleys, Maybachs, Mercedes-Benz, so a lot of high-end things.
He was even famous for never wearing the same designer suit twice, owning over 80 custom-made suits that cost thousands of dollars each.
I used to be with Jacob. I used to get all the new watches. I had 15, 20 watches at one time. And then when I came into the league, it was a dress code. So I used to get the custom suits. $15,000, $2,000 a suit.
Beyond the clothes and the friends, Walker struggled with a gambling habit, losing over $1.2 million to casinos. But the final blow came from bad business. Walker put his money into real estate right before the 2008 housing market crashed. Because he didn't understand how to manage his own money, he lost his entire fortune almost overnight. He was even forced to sell his 2006 NBA championship ring for about $21,000 just to help pay his debts. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. Today, Walker travels the country, sharing his story to help young athletes be better with their money. He teaches them about budgeting, avoiding bad investments, and preparing for life after sports. It's clearly worked for some athletes, like former NBA player Shumpert.
Back in the day, like Twan took me out. We talk about all the time stuff like all the money problems and stuff. Part of my financial literacy came from Twan
watching that,
telling me at the bowling alley like what it is.
This was after he had lost it, or
yeah,
okay, damn.
Yeah. This is my like later high school years, but this is like when it's coming out. Everybody talking about it.
Yeah.
Dog done lost some money or just spent too much or doing, and he just kind of had a real conversation with me, like, because even when they was talking about him losing, he still was like this generous guy.
He didn't shy away from it. You still can talk to him. You still gonna see him. Like he embraced it.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
and he just kind of like gave me game on it, just like how it feel good, and if you want to do that, if you champion that in your heart, then do that. But think about this on the backside. I didn't get to. You got a chance.
And that's the bright side of things. We're seeing athletes now who reject spending their money on fancy cars or flashy suits. Take Shumpert again, for example.
How you gonna, like, if I'm looking at my account and I don't see nothing but a couple hundred bands, I'll never go spend a meal.
Right.
It's couple hundred bands in here. Like, why am I go spend a meal? And for my man, it's like from overdraft and $20 in your account, right, if that, you know what I'm saying? From going from that to seeing, just six figures, period. It was just like, but then I noticed like all my teammates, everybody's lifestyle was changing. The people I got drafted with, they all just like, it's like they couldn't wait to be rich. I'm like, y'all went and got the craziest car you could find. Like, I wouldn't even know how to start this. I got a Jeep.
It's inspiring to hear Shumpert prioritize saving money, even if it means his teammates will tease him for it.
Like Melo used to be mad at me, like, Shump, you come up here with this goddamn Jeep, bro. Like I'm embarrassing him or something. His Jeep was like for like a day off.
Yeah.
Like he like my Jeep for taking off the doors and acting crazy in the summer. He like, you got a Jeep on a day-to-day?
Yeah.
He like, Shump, you could buy a Benz, this, and I just like, gee, I barely even drive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just never was one of them excessive kids. Like even with shopping, I'm like, I don't like looking like y'all. I was gonna go to Neiman's, I was gonna go to Barney's or wherever else y'all went. Saks. But I'm like, 3 of y'all came in looking like twins.
Yeah.
Y'all weird as hell.
All y'all did was buy everything off the mannequin.
Y'all mannequin boys. Mannequin man. Like, come on, mannequin man. I can't do that.
Even Dave Ramsey has a story about an NFL player who lived on a tiny budget and saved almost every penny he made.
All the work I've done over the years with different NFL and other professional athletes, this guy comes in, he's young. I mean, he's like 26 years old. He'd been in the league a few years, but not, he wasn't an old guy in the league by any stretch. And his sweet little wife, and they drive in a used van.
Wow.
And they come in and they go like, and I'm thinking they're going to tell me they've blown all their money. And he goes, you're just going to be so mad at me. And I'm like, number one, I'm not going to be mad at you regardless how dumb you are. But what did you do? I mean, did you do something dumb? And he goes, yeah, we've got all our money in savings account. And I said, how much money do you have in savings account? 36 million.
Oh, whoa.
And I'm like, no, I am not going to yell at you. I'm going to hug you. You have $36 million, and the only thing you did wrong was you didn't invest it. No, you get a hug.
At the end of the day, all of the stories we looked at have commonalities. They're cautionary tales of the dangers of overspending and not being ready for the future. The rules of money don't just suddenly change because you're rich. Without a plan, a giant fortune can vanish faster than a heavyweight knockout. Had these pro athletes only lived within their means, saved money, and invested wisely, they could have been set for life. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Llama, out.